Welcome back to Not Enough Knives, everybody. It's your boy JT. If there was ever a tier list of the most important video that I've ever uploaded, this right here would be it. I don't know if many of you remember, this thing here came out roughly about, I want to say 10 years ago. It's probably a plus or minus of 10 years, so correct me on that exact number. This is the Gerber Bear Grylls Ultimate Fixed Blade Knife. When it came out, it was a time where this series of this particular gentleman, Bear Grylls, which is an expert survivalist or whatever, was on fire. It was during his prime time. It was really getting a lot of views and ratings on TV. A lot of people were getting special cable programs just to watch this thing. I remember it being a big deal. So this knife sold really well based on riding that wave of success that series had. Most of us that are kind of more practical with our needs for a knife, not based on any kind of theme or kind of series or anything, we obviously opted for something that's cheaper at the time, but that didn't have to necessarily bear those big time names and thus carry the price related to those names. Well, what if I told you that something did exist like that, but for some reason it was not marketed well, so it kind of flew under the radar and a lot of us didn't even know about it? Well, I present to you here the Gerber Ultimate Fixed Blade. It doesn't have the Bear Grylls logos on it. It doesn't have the branding on it, but it's the exact same thing. And instead of $44.95, which is what you would have bought it for back in the day, this knife is available for $24 at Target. Those of you who thought that this was an amazing knife, but it wasn't worth the extra premium because of relationship to Bear Grylls, there was an alternative available. Now, I don't know how long after that initial knife this particular one came out. It was probably 4 or 5 years. This one particularly says 2019. So I'm assuming they probably waited a couple years to finally bring out their mainstream model. The knife obviously comes with an amazing sheath, integrated sharpener, ferro rod. It does have a 7CR steel. Their heat treating is probably amazing. This number is not directly reflect the strength of the knife anyway. A lot of people see 3CR, 4CR, 5CR, and they're like, oh, that's the cheapy cheapy. 8CR, man. 9CR, bros. It ain't like that. This number just only represents the chromium content of the steel, and that only dictates how good it's going to reject corrosion. It's the numbers that usually follow on after that that matter. And in this case, it's CR17. This knife actually happens to be very strong. It just has a 1 tick lower of corrosion resistance. And usually those numbers, you do have to play with them in order to achieve one thing over another. Like if you want a greater strength at the cost of just slightly less corrosion resistance, you usually have to sacrifice a little from this number to get to this one. It all comes down to the costs of manufacturing. How much can you give up at a cost-effective level? Let's get to the unboxing. All right, guys, here we have the ferro rod, the knife itself, and the sheath. Sheath is very much like a lot of Gerber products that we have come to love and become familiar with. Basically, it includes this neoprene hard plastic area here, which is strapped in 2 locations. This one is removable as well as this one, so you can always carry the knife loosely in the sheath, but it also carries as a normal attachment here like this. Well-made sheath. Obviously the sheath is made in China, even though the knife is built in the USA, assembled in China. All right, so let's quickly talk about how the knife fits in the sheath. You guys know I'm a big proponent of well-fitting knives in well-built sheaths. I assume that the knife goes in either way. So let me just test that theory real quick. Yep, okay, it seems that the knife goes in ambidextrous, which we all like to see that. It does pop in with a very confident thump. Bank. Secure the strap right here, which is very nice. The knife feels very tight in that sheath. I like the fact that Gerber took the time to pay attention to detail. They put a little O-ring here for water leakage. The ferro rod snaps right into place right there with no indication that it could ever come out. And then to pull it out, you simply just put 2 of your fingers here on these indents and it comes right out. So very nice work on that Gerber. Very nice fit. It could securely strap to any kind of gear you have. a multi-whistle. I have to read into that, but it's cool that they added this one extra component of survivability within the knife. The Bear Grylls knife and this knife are completely identical in shape, in form factor, in ergonomics. So if you're used to the Bear Grylls knife, if you've held it before, if you've worked with it before, this knife is going to feel identical. Like I said, the advantage of this knife in particular is you're doing everything at half the cost. Very nice, tacky, rubberized handle, similar to all the other offerings from Gerber, such as a Strong Arm or the Prodigy. It's got the areas here, which I know you guys hate to hear me say it, but it's what the manufacturer states on every single instruction manual. These holes are here to create a spear out of a pole for either spear fishing or whatever you would ever need to build a spear for. Don't attack the messenger, attack the designer. But yeah, that's what these are there for. There is no plain blade version of this knife. I know that's going to turn a lot of you off. It has that surface on it. That might be good for a lot of survival and egress situation if you're ever in such situation. Big hand friendly, so do not fear the grip. The grip is pretty awesome. It might be a little bit on the thinner side, the Strong Arm and the Gerber Prodigy having a little bit more of a flare here. This one is closer to the Freeman Guide as far as the grip goes. These dimples evacuate water and they help with the grip, which is something that's always nice to see. It's completely different design, so you can probably consider that this knife is a lot more survival friendly because of those tiny aspects that come into play and play a bigger role in those scenarios where you don't expect the little things to really be that important. So yeah, there you have it, guys. Can't wait to take it out back, test a ferro rod, see what kind of sparks it throws. If you guys have been playing with this, let me know what you think of it, how it performs outdoors, how it performs if you carry it on an everyday basis, as a utility knife, as a work knife. Let me know what you guys are experiencing with this knife. I want to hear it because I value your opinion and new input from people that are actually using this in real life. Thanks for visiting, guys. If you have family and friends that love this kind of content, honest tabletop reviews, new knives, old knives, and knives that potentially could go out of existence and are either on clearance or at a good price where you can pick them up for a limited time, I'm always here to help with that. Thanks for visiting, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.